Maseches Kesubos Daf Tzadi Aleph. The Mishnah says the halacha of Kesubos and dichrin, and the Mishnah says that if the Yisraelim say that they're going to be Mala and Appraise their Yerusha for more valuable than the actual value of the karka, in order it should be considered that there's a moised dinner in order that they could be able to take Kesubos and dichrin, the halacha is ein shoym lahem. Shlomo Kluger asks, what's the understanding in the Chiddush of this Mishnah that we don't listen to the big Suba G'dayla to be mal and to evaluate the property at a greater than the cost price, than the actual value, in order that they should take Kesubos and dichrin? He says the saying it after the father passed away, so if at the time of the Misa it was nechasim water, and afterwards the srabu, it definitely shouldn't help. What's the chiddush of the Mishnah? So Shlomo Kluger says, you see from this Mishnah tremendous chiddush that the water in the srabu, the water is a suffix, you don't take Kesubos and dichrin. That's specifically on something that's not a vidi da'asi, something that's not ovid to happen. However, a shvach that's ovidi da'asi, and we could expect that the nechasim would be nesraba, even though at the time of the actual misa it had chashivas of nechasim water. Nevertheless, since it's avida osi, has halacha of nechasim rubim. So therefore, the Mishnah is telling us that although it's pashat that always the Yerusha will want to evaluate their Yerusha at a greater value in order that they should be able to take Kesubos and dichrin, and therefore it should be considered avidi da'asi. Nevertheless, they cannot do it, and therefore specifically because their value on a higher price, they can't take it. However, on something that's avidi da'asi, then it's considered nechasim rubim. I know others from Yashiv that asks on Shlomo Kluger. From that's mavur in the Rosh now. Sugya that the Rosh asks on the Mishnah, it says that if they were nechasim that are roy, it's not kivamuchsik and has halacha nechasim water and it's shver. From that, the Gemara is mesupik by mu'otim nesrabu, because by mu'otim nesrabu that the Gemara has it sad, it should be considered nechasim rubim is by dikla v'olam, the actual dekel, the actual property became more valuable. However, by Roy, on the Yerusha fell in, that wasn't Mikki Yerusha, that doesn't have a status of Muchsik. So Yashiv says that Dikla of Olim is definitely Avidi da'asi, it's normal to get more valuable, and nevertheless it's more in the Rosh that's not posh, it's considered Nechasim Rubim at the time of Misa. And Yashiv says that the understanding in the Mishnah that we're not referring to that they evaluated after the Misa, rather they evaluated before the Misa of the father, that the Yerusha should be worth more and should be considered that it's a moised dinner. And the Kakasha of Shlomo Kluger could be that the Yisraelim say they're evaluating the property more. It's not like nechasim watim nesrabu, because they're evaluating and saying that for them that's the value of their Yerusha at the time of the Misa. It's not like nechasim watim nesrabu that was neschadish after the Misa that the nechasim are merubim. Ein da flon with base it says v'emes da halacha that the Yisraelim said that the mala, the nechasim of the father more is specific at Shas Misa. However, after Misa not mahani, and the Pnei Yeshua asks on the Mishnah that what's the chiddush of the Mishnah? If Yerushim could evaluate the Yerusha for more than the actual value, then it's never negated halacha on the chosim that don't have moised dinner. But according to Aflo, it's Mirshav Hativ, because they have to say at the time of the actual Yerusha, Ayin Shamoit. Moving further on, the Gemara Beis brings a story that someone owed 1,000 zuz, and he told two properties, one for 500 zuz and one for 500 zuz. And the Bachoiv came to collect the first property and the second property, and when he came to collect the second property, the Lekech told him, if this property is worth for you 1,000 zuz, then you should collect it for 1,000 zuz. But if it's not worth you 1,000 zuz, then take 1,000 zuz for the shavius of the karka and for the shavius of the chayiv, and have a peroin. And the more declares, but Tirfah kamakasvina, in such a case that they evaluated at the time of the Tirfah the chesada for 1,000 zuz, do you write that kilo the gvir was for 1,000 zuz, so the kilo the gvir was for 500 zuz, and the Mar brings machloikis, and the Mar says the hilchas says b'chamesh me'ezuz, and the Taisa says that it's not considered like shvach. Eine Sefer Oretz V'tziyunim that explains what's the understanding in the Tzad Gemara that you should write that the Tirfah was for 1,000 zuz since the Keach only bought the property for 500 zuz. So what's the Tzad Gemara that you should write that the Tirfah was for 1,000 zuz? He explains according to what's Mavur and Reb Shach and Avi Ezri. And what's the beer in the Chiyuv Achrayis Nechosim? As you have to understand, what's together in that the halacha is that if one sells a property to a lekeach and the bachoy comes and collects the property from the lekeach, that even if the moiche didn't write achrayis nechosim when he sold the property to the lekeach, nevertheless the lekeach could go and receive the value of the tirfah from the moiche. So Pshach says that it could be the reason why the lekeach could demand reimbursement from the moiches because it's like if someone pays back the choiv of his friend, that the halacha is that he can't be mechayiv the moiche to pay. And Pshach says that specifically when the pereya paid back the choiv willingly. However, if he didn't pay back the choiv willingly, rather there was a tirfah against his will, so therefore you don't have the ptur of the fact that he was pereya, and therefore he could demand reimbursement from the seller because the lekeach paid back the choiv of the moicher. And Pshach says, that's not the understanding in the Chiyuv Achrayis, because you find even by the lekeach sheni, the lekeach sheni could demand payment from the Keach Rishon, even though the Choiv was for the original Moyecher. Nevertheless, there's a Chiyuv Achrayis HaKoch. You see, that's not the understanding in the Chiyuv Achrayis. He says the understanding is that every sale is a sale forever, and if there's a Tirfah, then the Keach could go and demand payment from the Moyecher. But the Haaretz Titzunim says that could be that's the understanding in Ravina. The reason why Ravina holds that the Tirfah is for 1,000 zuz is because midin pereya choyve shel chaveroi. Eine the Sefer al Yodas HaShachar from Steinman Zechon Levacha that asks on the Yisoid of the Briskerov in the Sefer that explains understanding in the Chiyuv Achrayis is because whenever there's a Tirfah, when the Bachoiv comes and zgoiva the Choiv from the Kech, is as if it's nizgala that the field was gzula, and therefore it's like a bittul in the original mechira, and therefore the lekeach could demand reimbursement from the seller. So he says if that's the case, then it's very hard to understand what's the understanding in Ravina. How could we write a star tirfah for 1,000 zuz for ayin sham? Moving further on, in Chuvas Torah Lishma, brings a shaila that Shimon was captured, and the captives said that the way that they'll agree to release Shimon if Ruvain will give to them his ring. And Ruvain therefore gave his expensive ring to the captors, and they released Shimon. And afterwards, interestingly, Shimon went to Ruvain and asked Ruvain for a choiv to pay Shimon back for an old debt that Ruvain owed Shimon. And Ruvain told Shimon, "Do you want me to reimburse you for the choiv? For many years ago, I just gave my expensive ring, which is worth more than the entire choiv, to those that held you in prison. So therefore, that I paid for your ransom price with my ring should include the payment of the original choiv." And that Shimon said that you gave your ring was very nice and it was a big mitzvah, but that was mitzvah, the mitzvah of pidyon shvuyin, and you didn't have in mind for perei and choiv. So therefore, you still owe me the original money. On that, the Torah Lishma says that there's a raya from our Gemara and Tzadi Aleph from Appraise in Kesubos that the Gemara says that if the father left over a choiv of 100 zuz and left over a property of 50 zuz, and when the Bachoiv came to collect, the Yisraelim paid 50 zuz, nevertheless the Bachoiv could go again and take away the karka. And the Gemara says that only if the Yisraelim said at the time that they paid back the 50 zuz, that this is opinion of the original shibud on the karka. However, if they don't say it's opinion of the original shibud of the karka, then they're doing a mitzvah of Priyas Balchoiv mitzvah, and therefore the Balchoiv could collect the karka again. And the Torah Lishma says that who did in our case over here, that Ruvain gave his expensive ring to redeem Shimon, that was mitzad the mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuyin, and he didn't have in mind to repay his loan. Could be mechalik that over here by Priyas Balchoiv mitzvah the Yisayim mechuyev for the choiv moment, for the choiv mishpat that the father had. However, by Pidyon Shvuyin, it's a yeridei mitzvah. So although he was mechuyev mitzad the mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuyin, nevertheless, it could be he still had in mind and still a chashivas that he paid back his loan with tzarchiyim b'zeh.